to do if the Lakers want to win another ring next year. Still, for
hello everyone, this is Don's Meditations and Hoop Life Sports and Entertainment. Just gotta share a video on
We're so happy to be joined
Undisputed
by the one and only Snoop Dogg this morning, diehard member of Laker Nation. Snoop, I'm so happy.
I'm gonna share this video and I'm gonna talk about I'm gonna be commenting on this video and kind of comment on what Skip have to say about why the Clippers didn't make it.
For you, congrats your Lakers. The floor is yours.
Hey, look here. Y'all know what these are? This is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's 1971 All-Star ring, and this is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar 1985 All-Star ring. How about that?
True Laker fan. Super fan.
Hello.
Snoop, bro, you hit me up shortly after the buzzer sounded. Man, I haven't heard you this happy in such a long time. What was going through your mind when the confetti starts to fall down and you're like, my Lakers are champs in their rightful place again?
I just felt like we started 2020 off on such a bad note, and for the NBA to pull off a season where they had a bubble with no bad tests, the games were exciting, they were interesting, teams had an opportunity to get there, they played their hearts out, new players shined, and then it came down to the big fish, LeBron James and AD, which was favored to win it all season, and, you know, too bad the Clippers couldn't make it, but that's not our responsibility.
Exactly.
And I heard you, Skip, you said we avoided them. We did not avoid them. They was in the same bubble we was in. They didn't handle their business.
Exactly.
Should have went and got them wings, and Doc Rivers should have had his team under control. It was too much load management. Our team.
Exactly. Now, in one show, Skip said, he was saying, well, the Clippers, they didn't want to be there, and he was just making all these excuses why the Clippers didn't make it. All those teams was in the same bubble. All those teams was in the same bubble. You can't make excuses for the Clippers and why they didn't make it. You know, if they were so good, they would have been right there. Period. If you can't beat the Nuggets to make it to the finals, that's on the Clippers.
It was gelling. They was coming together. Dwight Howard played his role.
Exactly.
Rondo played his role. When you got seasoned vets like that don't have a problem with playing their role, and then LeBron James got those other guys up to par, KCP, Caruso, man, they came to play this year, and they really impressed me, and it made me so happy to see them go from terrible 2 years ago to in the finals. And that's the work that LeBron James puts in when he comes to a franchise to change the whole environment to get it back to where it is right now. And we're so happy in LA that LeBron came to us and brought AD and put us back in a place where we can say, you know what? We started off the year bad. We lost Kobe and Gigi. But this championship show gives us a little bit of, rejoicement at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So, Snoop, I want to congratulate you. I want to congratulate Laker Nation. I even want to congratulate you on your Steelers so far, who are 5-0. Maybe this is your year in both the NBA and the NFL. But let's be real about what just went down. Your Lakers got every break imaginable. It was like it was meant to be after the late, great Kobe passed. Everything broke your way, all the way from the pandemic that gave LeBron 5 months off to rest up and
everybody had 5 months off
for the big playoff push. And then, to your point, the Clippers didn't even want to go to the bubble. They had issues, Black Lives Matter issues.
I don't want to hear that.
COVID issues.
I don't want to hear that.
They just didn't want to be there.
I don't want to hear that. That's a bunch of excuses and baloney, man. I want to hear that. Oh, Black Lives. Everybody had Black Lives Matter issue. All those teams was dealing with the same exact thing, Skip. So stop making excuses for the Clippers. They all came there to play. They knew everybody knew what they was getting into when they got there. So there's no excuses. There's no excuses, bro. They all came there to do one thing.
The Clippers didn't even want to go to the bubble. They had issues, Black Lives Matter issues. They had COVID issues.
Excuses.
They just didn't want to be there.
Excuses.
And in the end, going into the playoffs, Las Vegas, all the odds makers favored the Clippers over your Lakers.
All right, so?
And you did avoid them because they were looking ahead to wanting to get you.
Skip, slap him in the back, he's choking. They choke. That's what they do every year, Skip. Sorry to hurt your feelings, but I've been in LA my whole life.
I know.
They ain't won nothing. They ain't never even went to a Western Conference Finals.
Nope.
They had the Lob City when we was sorry. When we were sorry for 6 years, they had Lob City and still couldn't go.
Yep.
Snoop.
Their best chance to win was when they had Lob City.
Their best chance to win was the first closeout game against the Nuggets. They were up, what was it? 16, 16 points. Yeah. Against
we
the
say in
Nuggets.
LA, we not the Clippers. That's what we say in LA. When the Denver Nuggets came to play us, we ate them Nuggets. You see that? 5-piece nugget dinner.
We ate them Nuggets.
Joking?
Yeah. Okay.
Them Nuggets was good.
Okay, but Snoop, then you get to the finals, and who's left from the East? The 5 seed. A team that has to play 3 rookies high minutes. 2 of them
So
started.
what?
One of them, Tyler Hero,
They
youngest
they
player
proved
ever
that they
to play
earned
in the
it.
finals.
So what?
And what happened in game 1? They lost Dragic, their leading playoff scorer. And then they lost Bam, their heart and soul, their energizer. And he tried to come back 2 games
No,
later,
man, no,
and his
so
bum
what?
shoulder never was quite right.
You're making excuses
You got
why they-
this was an epic mismatch against the Miami Heat. You know it, and I know it. You should have swept
But
them.
Skip,
Nah.
but the thing is this. When you're a coach and you're a team, your job is to coach your team,
Right.
not the other team.
Exactly.
And that's what you keep trying to do. You keep trying to put their blame on us like it's our fault the Clippers lost. It's our fault the Miami Heat beat the Bucks. It's our fault. No. Your job is to handle your business before you to get to that game and leave the excuses behind.
Exactly.
I give Miami Heat a lot of credit because they played their butts off.
Exactly.
They played hard. They made us work. They made us make adjustments.
Exactly.
They pushed us to the limit in every game that we played except those 2 games, the first one and the last game. So I give them a lot of kudos.
Exactly.
Nobody really knew those guys. They came together. They played. They made no excuses.
Exactly.
Sound like you making excuses for everybody else.
He is.
You can't do that.
He's making excuses for everybody.
You knew the rules and regulations.
Exactly.
You knew the stipulations.
Exactly.
You got there. It ain't no asterisk. It is what it is.
Thank you.
This is what it is, Skip.
Thank you.
You see that ink?
Thank you. That's all he's doing, making excuses for the Clippers, making excuses for every team, and why the Lakers won and all that. He's just making excuses instead of giving the Lakers, giving LeBron his due, giving him his respect.
Yep.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
KD on the bottom, championship on top.
Woo. Did you just get that yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Woo.
Sir, yes.
Yeah, you got one too, right?
I'm thinking about getting me one.
Yeah.
But Jenny said they're not going to have a parade, Snoop. But I rode around Sunday blowing my horn. I was in the parade over there in Westwood and Beverly
You know what?
Hills.
How about me and you have our own little parade, Shannon? Let's do that.
Yep.
We're going to have a two. Well, I need to rent a pickup truck, get to go downtown in front of Staples Center and just start blaring music.
Yep. Yep. The fans just have to have their own
When you look
parade.
at our team, we had Dwight Howard. We got a Keith Morris at the trade deadline. Nobody wanted him. Rondo, Caruso. We got Caruso from South Bay. So look at all the fill-in pieces that we had. Y'all talking about, Kawhi shunned him. Paul George. Kawhi chose Paul George and Pat Beverly over AD and LeBron. How he looking now, Snoop?
Who you talking about, playoff P?
Way off Pete. Because he way off shooting them shots.
Look, let me tell y'all something about this basketball thing, man. It starts with your leader, right? And Kawhi Leonard's a great basketball player, but to me, he's not a great leader. Like, he doesn't lead he leads with his play.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah.
He don't lead vocally. LeBron James is strong enough to lead with his play, to lead with vocals, and to lead by being like a general manager by saying, go get him, bring me him. I know he's not a big name player, but he's going to play his role. It's all about the role. When LeBron builds a team, he wants role players.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, to me, that's why he is a little bit better than Kawhi Leonard as far as being able to take a team and a franchise and make them win, because he makes everybody better. Kawhi Leonard comes to the team as maybe him and somebody else, but it wasn't a whole team effort. The Lakers became a team in the bubble.
Well, Kyle Lowry was the leader. Kawhi's style of work works when you're winning. But if you have chaos or if you have crisis in your locker room, Kawhi Leonard style won't work because just playing won't solve that issue in the locker room. They had issues in the locker room with Paul George thinking that he was a superstar. And they had a problem with guys load managing because they said, hold on, wait a minute. You do realize that we went to the second round. We took 2 games off of a healthy Golden State. And now you guys come in here and then y'all get carte blanche service? Where they do that at, Doc? And that's Doc's fault because Doc gave those guys privileges that they hadn't earned. Right. What you did over there, they got to do with right here.
Yeah.
You need to win for us, just like the Laker faithful wanted LeBron. We know you got MVPs. We know you win titles. But if you want love and adoration that Magic and Kobe and Shaq and all those greats get, bring us one. Now they got it. They love LeBron. They finna put up a new mural. I bet they don't deface that one, Skip.
No.
You was doing it. You was defacing. Yeah, it was Skip defacing.
Skip, you was doing it. I got footage of you, Skip. I got footage of you spray painting that LeBron.
I wouldn't stoop to that.
Tell on you, but I'm gonna show you that footage later on today.
Yeah.
Look.
Hello again. I'm gonna play Skip Bayless rant on why he feel like the Lakers had it so easy, and how he says that the Lakers avoided the Clippers. It just really BS. Listen.
It's fault though.
It's not. It was just meant to. You avoided the one team that would have knocked you off. You avoided the team that the odds makers had as the favorites going into these.
Nobody avoided the Clippers.
Playoffs.
The Lakers didn't avoid the Clippers. The Clippers avoided the Lakers. The Lakers did what they're supposed to do. They took care of their teams. They were waiting for the Clippers. The Clippers didn't do what they were supposed to do to get there. So you have to put that on the Clippers. Don't belittle the Lakers championship because the Clippers didn't make it. It wasn't the Lakers' fault. The Lakers did what they're supposed to do. Period.
The one team that could have gotten you fell on its face because it was looking ahead to you.
How's that the Lakers' fault though?
It's not. It was just meant to be. You got all the way to the finals, and you wind up facing a team that was an epic mismatch for you. I'm sorry, it just was. I enjoyed the Heat's run through the East.
Discredit the Lakers.
They were something.
so much.
I've never seen anything quite like it.
Yeah.
You don't
but
give
when
no
they
credit
ran
at all.
into you, you had by far the 2 best players on the floor, right?
Yeah.
And the odds makers said you were a prohibitive favorite. And in game 1, you went on a 77-32 run, and you exposed the Heat for everything they weren't.
Right.
They're just too little. Their starting center is 6 feet 9 inches tall. And Bam got hurt in game 1, and he was never quite the same thereafter. He missed a game, then he came back and
the
tried
Miami
really
Heat too little.
He
They
did
weren't
okay, but he
good.
couldn't do
They
it
weren't
too little.
this.
He couldn't defend. And speaking of
They
too little,
weren't that.
speaking of little,
Excuses.
your starting point guard, this guy named LeBron,
We're all pros,
is
bro.
as tall as Bam
So
and
what?
much bigger and stronger too.
See how he just sitting there making excuses? Oh, the Miami Heat, they were just too little. They're too this, they're too that. But the Miami Heat made it there for a reason, bro. They made it there for a reason. They weren't just some flops. The Lakers had, a bigger lineup, but shoot, they still made it to the final. The Miami Heat still made it to the finals, and they still played them well. They still, considering that they may not have like all this like superstars, but they made it to the finals, and they actually gave the Lakers a run for their money. They didn't just roll over. Come on, Skip.
Me, much more physically developed than Bam is at his very young age.
Much more physical.
It's LeBron James at 6'9" versus Bam at 6'9".
Look at that.
And
Excuses.
remember, the Heat's leading scorer through the playoffs was Goran Dragic. And he gets hurt, and God bless him, he tried to tough it out and come back last night. It was sort of Alex Smith-like, if you will. And he tried, and he was a shell of himself. But they wanted him because they loved him. He's Jim's best buddy.
And they knew it was over.
And they knew it was over, so they said, let's just see what would happen. Maybe he'll give us a little kickstart inspiration, but he couldn't, and it's no surprise. So you got to play the 5th seed in the East. You got to play
But the
a team
5th
that
seed,
the odds makers had in the
the 5th
preseason.
seed showed that they earned their way up there, Skip. You said, oh, they played the 5th seed, but shoot, they didn't get there just on a fluke. They beat the best. They beat the best of the best in the East. Come on, Skip.
75-1 to even get to the finals,
So
making
what?
them the longest odds team to make an NBA Finals in the last 30 years since the stat was even kept. You got to play a team that was down 2 of its best players and had to start and play high minutes. 3 rookies. 3, including
So
Tyler
what?
Hero, who was the youngest player
So
ever
what?
to play in an NBA
They still
Finals.
came and played.
And you
still-
step back and look at this. Well, it took 2 classic, all-time masterpiece aberration games from Jimmy Butler for them to steal 2 games. I don't know how he did it, but he went for 40 the first night and 35 the next time, which was last Friday night. And I said, where did that come from? Because he's a 20-point-a-game average scorer. And what did he do in the other 4 finals games? He averaged 21 points. And last night he had 12 points because, as we just talked about,
Cry
he
me a
was done.
river.
He was
Cry me a river,
psychologically,
Skip. Cry
physically,
me
he'd
a
given all he
river.
could.
What, he played Friday all but 40 seconds? That's asking a lot.
Okay, it's just too much. So I look back at all the breaks that you got. I
Cry me
promise
a
you, the
river.
pandemic, as awful as it has been for all of us, including the Lakers,
Yeah, everybody.
it was a huge break for your man LeBron.
No, it
he was
wasn't.
nearing the end of his 17th year. He'd been on a great run right up to the edge of the quarantine and the pandemic. And then he got almost 5 months off to heal up, rest up.
They
and
all got
revitalize.
5
Let me
months.
ask you this.
They all got 5
What
months.
you saw leading up to the pandemic, did it look like he was slowing down or picking up steam?
He was picking up steam, but I dreaded, for his sake, trying to close out the season on that pace, trying to win an MVP at age 35.
I told you that wasn't our focus.
Okay.
You know what our focus was. You know what it was.
Okay, but he wanted that badly. You know he wanted.
We wanted it with more.
Okay, you wanted the MVP
We
regular
wanted
season,
sweepstakes.
and you wanted the MVP.
It
of the
would have been
finals.
nice to get both, no question.
Okay, so your arch rival who shares the Staples Center but lives in the basement, your Clippers, they needed reps, R-E-P-S reps, because they had brand new chemistry, and they were just starting to click before the pandemic hit also.
Well, from what I've been hearing, that wasn't going to help. They had more chemistry problems than reps.
Okay.
What
They had
they
internal
could be
issues.
fixed on the court.
Okay, but you needed